Yes, Chandra. Yeah.
Now imagine here you see I'm taking three different users, you see. So like this you see, here I'm taking different users, user 1, user 2 and user 3. And imagine this is server. If these three different users send a request, that is to access their data from the server, like this you see. Just a moment. And now here you see. Imagine this is request 1 made by user 1 here. And this is request 2 and then request 3. Okay. So after requests made by different users to this server, then server accepts the data, or the server accepts the requests made by different users and then generates a response. Okay. But for example, if three different users using different types of platforms you see, imagine. So user 1 using a platform which is called Windows, and second user is Unix, and the third user is Android, something like that. So if these users sent a request to access their either Gmail accounts or some banking related data, okay, server needs to generate the response in different formats. In different formats means response is same, but that response should be compatible for different operating systems like Windows, Unix and Android, right? Then how it is, how that server generates the same response compatible to different platforms, right? So understood? Is it clear right now? Venkat, is clear right now? Hello Venkat, can you hear me? Hello Venkat?
Yes, Chandra, I can hear. Yeah, it's clear.
Yeah, fine. So how it generates the response? Yes. So that here server needs to generate the response in the form of some XML you see. Okay. So do you have any knowledge on XML? Extensible markup language, right? So what about that XML here? Extensible markup language. So if the server generated the response in the form of XML, then it is compatible for any type of operating system. Okay, understood? So yes, that's why here we need to use the concept of web services. So what is meant by web service? Web service is nothing but a server-side program which allows us or which helps us to generate the same response or response for different users. For different users means for different platforms. Okay, which is compatible. Understood? So is it clear right now? Yes, how it is. That's why we are going to use or we are going to create some web services. Here basically we are having two types of web services. One is SOAP web service and the second one is REST web service. Here SOAP web service means nothing but a simple object access protocol. Okay, this is it is a one type of protocol. SOAP is a protocol. So when user sending a request with the SOAP protocol, then SOAP type of web service process that request and generates a response in XML format, right? Is it clear right now, Venkat? If you have any queries, please ask me.
It's okay, Chandra. It's clear now.
Yeah. So that let me show that SOAP type of web service. Just a minute. So here you see when the user sent a request about the web service executing server side, then server generates some information about the web service in a file format which is called WSDL, means web service description language. So in that WSDL file, it sends the information about the program. Here program is nothing but web service. Like what are the methods presented in the web service, and what is the web service, what is the function name or method name, and what are the arguments it is taking or it will take, and what is the return type. Okay, it generates a file with extension with extension WSDL. Okay, web service description language. So that file contains complete description about the web service, right? So understood my point here, all of you? Sorry, Venkat, clear? So what is meant by WSDL here?
It contains all the detail about the request. It's like
No,
web
not
service
request.
description language.
No. Like that information is not related to request. Information related to web service only.
Okay.
So what is meant by web service? Nothing but a program which contains some set of methods and collection of methods. Okay. So like for example, if you send a request to deposit some amount into your bank account, imagine, then what are the values you need to pass for that web service? And finally, like what is the resultant values we will get as a response. So it returns, and moreover in what format you will get the response, and what type of values we need to send for the web service or function, something like that. So you will get the complete information in the form of a file, right? So understood point here? Understood point, Venkat?
Yes, yes.
Then, so you will get a WSDL file like this, which contains method name, then arguments list. So what is meant by argument here? And what type of arguments we need to send for that method. Simply we can say type of values or type of arguments. Okay, and how many arguments we need to pass. And then what is the return type? So what is the return type means what type of value we will get as a response from the web service. So initially we will get this information from the server. Okay, so that based on that information we need to send the data for the web service. So that web service process the data what we send and generates the response in the form of XML. So nothing but extensible markup language. So like when we are going to send this entire data for the server, yes, we must use a protocol, right? So what protocol is doing here? Can you tell me, Venkat? Why we need to take the help of protocol here? Why we need to take the help of protocol? Generally, general concept, you tell me.
To identify what is the structure of the input and to make appropriate response to that.
No, actually, like when we need to send any type of data or any data as a request from user to server, then we must use a protocol. We must use or we must take the help of a protocol, right?
Yes.
It will be either HTTP protocol or TCP/IP protocol or whatever it may be. Understood? Like that. So, in the same way, to make a request for the web service from the user side, we must use another protocol which is called SOAP protocol here. Okay, simple object access protocol. Okay, simple object access protocol. Understood. So like this protocol access the data in the form of some XML. That's why when the web service generated the response in the form of XML, yes, it passes from server to user in the form of SOAP, like sorry, in the form of XML, right? So let me show that. Here we created a web service like this, you see. Okay, so how web service is nothing but a simple method, some collection of methods, whatever it may be. That's why with what methods we are going to create web service, those methods we created in the interface, you see how it is: public, interface, then followed by interface name. And then what are the methods we need to implement? Okay, those methods are given here, right? At the rate of web method, okay, then followed by string, then followed by get hello world as a string, right? So like here we are going to use, or we are going to implement a method called get hello world as string. And what type of value this method is taking as a argument? String type. And what type of value returning? What type of value returning as a response? String type, right? And here you see we used a annotation called web service. That means here we are going to implement a web service with a method called get hello world as a string. Okay, understood. Is it clear right now? Fine. Now here you see we implemented that method like this. Okay, web service. So while implementing the method, okay, we used a annotation called web service. Yes. Now when we are going to implement that method, we created a class here. So what is the class we created? Hello world implementation implements. This is a predefined word given in Java language. Okay, so like why we used implements keyword here? Yes, when we need to implement what are the methods presented in the interface, then we must use a predefined word implements, then followed by interface name. Okay, this is the interface name, you see. Hello world is the interface. Okay, now this interface we are going to implement in this class called hello world implementation. Okay, fine. Now here you see get hello world as a string. So what is the method we created in the interface? That method we implemented here. Implementation means nothing but definition, right? So when we defined any method in the class, okay, so that method related definition we need to write. That's all. Implementation means nothing but writing of the definition here, right? Yes, simply what we are doing here. Yes, for example, if we send some name, whatever it may be, that name should be displayed with the given text like this: hello world jobs ws followed by value. What is the value we given, right? Yeah, yesterday session I think you will get from Sai. Right. So like this we implemented, and you see publishing. That means once the web service implementation is done here, we need to publish that web service in the server side. How it is? Like this. So we are having a predefined method called publish. Okay. So for the publish method, you see some string we given here. So like what the string represents? Yes, when a request is sent like this, okay, then immediately that request associates this response, what we implemented here, right? So that let me show. Just wait, it is executing. Now, that means here web service is published here. Once web service is published here, then we need to, you see, this is the web service description language. See, WSTL is generated. Okay, you see. So WSTL. So when you click on this, immediately you will get the data in the form of XML. Like you see, like what is the name? Hello World Implementation Service. That's what we created here. Okay. Then the method name you see. Hello World as get Hello World as a string. This is the method name you see. Get Hello World as string. And then argument 0. That means how many arguments that method is going to take? Only one method, right? That's why here like a tag is created which is called path, name is equals to argument 0. And what type of argument, what type of value? Arguments is nothing but value. So what type of value it is going to take? String type of value, right? And then in the same way return type also. Okay, you see, like complete details are given here. Okay, even SOAP address location. That means where. Where means, so the complete URL here, right? Complete URL. So complete URL. So URL represents the address of the service. So when we send a request like that by using that URL, then definitely we'll get a response. So you see like this, a file is generated which is called WSDL file. Nothing but web service description language. That web service description language represents the complete information about the web service. So what is meant by web service here? Web service represents a program, okay, which contains or which have some list of methods, whatever it may be. So what are the methods presented in the web service? Okay, and how many arguments it will take, and what type of arguments those are, and then what is the return type. Okay, so and what is the method name? Okay, something, each and everything you will get. Once the web service description language is generated in the server side, then we have to make a request. Yes, how we can make a request here? You see that? This is the client program we written here to execute or to send a request for the specified web service. Okay, that's what the representation of URL here, right? URL is equals to new URL of some string you see. Like this you see. With the WSTL specification, right? Okay, fine. Then here we created an object called QName. Then we need to pass that QName as an argument for create method which is presented in the service object. Okay, and then here you see that object dot, this is the web service object we got. So that is written from a method which is called get port. Okay, initially we created a service object. Okay, that service object represents a collection of web services. Now from those web service, which service we need to access, okay, that service name is given here as a parameter for get port method, so that it returns that the related reference of the web service. Then from that web service, so which method we want to call, that method is specified so that it will execute, or it executes in the server side and then generates a response here. You see, when we execute this program, you see what the output you will get here? Yes, hello world, JOXWS, Java T point, RPC. So that is the response generated here. Like this you see. So what is the argument we given for the web service? Yes, that's what displayed here. Hello world, JOXWS, followed by the argument what we given. That means finally we got the response from the web service. So here the SOAP type of web service generates the response either in a string or XML, right? So XML is a very popular language right now, because that language supports for any type of platform, whatever it may be. Okay, is it clear right now, Venkat? That is the main advantage of SOAP web service. Yeah. So if any queries, please ask me right now. No problem. And let me send the examples also. 1 minute.
Chandra, please share the code too. Code also.
Yeah. I will. I'm going to share the code right now.
And recorded session if possible, please.
Yeah, Venkat recorded session. So you will get the recorded session from Venkat.
Okay. Recording I will send you. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Venkat.
Yesterday's recording Sai will send.
Okay. Thank you.